Well, hello there, and welcome to That Fantasy American Football Podcast with myself, the Commish, and my two shenanigan-infused co-hosts, the Statman and the Fantasy Villain. How are you doing today, lads?
Hey, Commish. Hey, I just want to say, actually, bonjour, mes amis en France. Aujourd'hui, on l'épisode avec le Commish. Moi, le Statman. Et le vilain de fantasy. Nous avons beaucoup fluff, beaucoup guff et content extraordinaire. Maintenant, essayez-vous, écoutez et profitez de l'épisode magnifique. Over
yeah,
to you, fantasy
Mon
villain.
Pantaloon, Croc and Boosh.
Yeah.
I felt like I was on some bizarre Ryanair flight just then. Obviously not a sponsor. They've got no money.
No, but the Commission just pointed out that we have got more viewers now in France, or listeners, should I say, in France. Is that not correct?
Mais oui.
Yeah, so I am the Parisian Mr. Tumble, I think. A sort of Monsieur Roly-Poly, if you will.
And how responsible was Google for your introduction?
No, that's all me.
Oh yeah, GCSE French, really killing it.
Yeah. That's what I mean. It is Monsieur Roly-Poly of the Frangolese.
Literally, Kelly de Tat de ton anniversary. That's all I've got. Villain, what are you up to?
Hey.
C'est bon. C'est bon. Pretty good. You know, crazy world in the UK. Loads of crazy weather. But I am inching ever closer to my trip to Foxborough. So let's just remember that.
Never mind.
Are we enjoying?
Though, what a game!
Are we enjoying the non-football soccer ball Euros?
Not particularly.
I'm supporting Ireland throughout the Euros. It's been a real tough.
How's that
journey.
going?
Yes, I haven't managed to catch a game. I don't know, when are they on?
I don't know. They're not played. Yeah.
No, it's. You know what it's done? It's made me miss the NFL season. It's made me extremely excited for our best ball draft in 2 weeks.
Is that 2 weeks?
It is in 2 weeks' time.
Man, I better start doing some mock drafts for that.
Oh, I have done my fair share. I quite like best ball. I'm coming around to best ball. I hated it last year, but I'm coming around to it because when you get to the end, it is just dart throw central.
I felt like I really lost the plot because I did too many in one day and drafted Tom Brady in the 7th. I don't know what was happening. I'd already had a quarterback.
Yeah, that's the thing about best ball, though, isn't it? Even for one quarterback, you need backups in it because you can't change them in or out. So you need a spare.
The strategy is crazy. Actually, before we go into today, speaking of strategy and picking things up, we're going to be doing sleepers, breakouts, and busts today. But a quick reminder to follow us on Twitter at TFAFP, Instagram via that FAF podcast, and subscribe on all podcast services wherever you listen to us. Actually subscribe. That's great. Give us a rating. That's better. Hop over to the YouTubes and see us, me and my resplendent leprechaun regalia. The villain.
Make sure you purchase 2 tickets.
To the gun show? Yep.
Boom.
I believe you're rocking Pride as well.
I am rocking Pride. It's Pride Month. Be proud. Be proud of it. If you have no reason to be proud of your brothers, sisters, and everything that have had the courage to participate in Pride and live their best lives.
It does remind me that this is about the time of year that the villain and I 2 years ago were in New York watching a fantasy football podcast. I say watching. The villain may have been probably the drunkest I've seen him in a long time. and it was that kind of opinionated drunk asking Americans, why do you need guns, America?
What's up with how much you guys love Jesus? What's up with that?
Yeah,
it's like, do you guys have guns? Yeah, we're carrying them now. Why you got guns? That's not the right thing to ask someone with a gun.
Yeah, the North Atlantic relationship was dealt some extreme blows that week, and we almost got on a bus to New Jersey because we thought it was a British.
Because beer is excellent. Beer is a hell of a beer.
Yeah, we
really
were very drunk, but it was Pride weekend. We enjoyed that, and we also enjoyed the Fantasy Footballers. Great show. Can't wait to see another live show with them at some point in the future. But it's not about them today. It's about us. But before we dive into our breakouts, busters, sleepers, time for some news. Speaking of Pride Week, congratulations on Carl Nassib feeling comfortable enough to come out in the NFL, which is, more power to you. He'll never not be the world's either worst or best financial advisor to me. Does not matter your sexual preference.
I also haven't seen Taylor Swift come out and say, really proud of my best friend Carl Nassib on Twitter yet. I thought they were super close. That's what I got from Hard Knocks.
The Raiders back room and locker room have come out and supported him, which is great to see. And then obviously there's that horrible side of social media, but we won't indulge them with their criticism. I think it's it's a big step forward. Obviously, let's not forget about Michael Sam, who was drafted as an outwardly gay man.
J.K. Russell, openly bisexual, former player for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Well, there's a couple of guys who've come out post-career. I want to say Ryan Kedrin, but I don't think that's his name. There's a guy who actually
Kerrigan. Ryan Kerrigan.
Ryan Kerrigan came out post-career and stuff like that. So, but fair play to Carl Nassib. He didn't need to do it, and he's done it in Pride Month. So he's put his neck out.
I also think he did it in the most casual manner ever, and I really appreciate it. Hey guys, just want to do a casual post to say I'm gay. What up? It's like, all right, Carl Nassib, you did that the right way. And fair play to the NFL. The response from the NFL has been amazing. And fuck you to everyone else, really.
Long may it continue,
yeah.
Oh, hopefully one day we won't need these videos come up with people doing
hopefully. Who gives a shit?
It will just be.
As a rugby player came out as bisexual this weekend, it's quite well-known Leinster player, and it was one of those things where it's like, one day I want to be known as a rugby player who happens to be bisexual instead of that bisexual rugby player. To which my main thing was, I can't pronounce your name because you're Irish. It's difficult. So
what is that? It's got so many letters. Yeah, it's Chris. Fuck off.
Oh, okay. Obviously, not a deliberate transition, but I wanted to ask you guys if you've been following Tight End U. There's no.
Wowza. Unbelievable. We are tolerant. How about some intolerance?
It's not intolerance. It is tongue-in-cheek.
Banter.
Once again, no pun intended. I believe we have multi-sexual followers and listeners, and they will take that in good faith. But Tight End University, did anybody follow along with it this week? Because it was phenomenal.
I watched a little bit of it, and what I'm noticing is some people really have difficulty explaining their greatness and trying to teach it. So Travis Kelce trying to explain how he is the way he is. He's just very excitable, and he's trying to explain his technique, and he must have said 30 times about planting his left foot. You got to plant that left foot in. So from now on, whenever I need to go around the corner, I'm going to plant that foot on the opposite side to where I'm going. Got to plant that foot. Shoulders width, not too wide. Plant that foot. One more time. Plant that foot. Got to plant that foot. Explosiveness. They're just fucking jacked up on energy drinks all the time.
He's just jacked up on Mountain Dew. He's going to fight you.
It's literally, they're like, it might as well be called douchebag university because they're just the douchiest dudes, man.
They are. It does feel
a special
like a frat party. It does feel like a frat party. But what was really interesting for me to see there is, who actually was in attendance. Hunter Henry was there. Dawson Knox was there. Anthony the Turkey Ferguson was there. Kyle Pitts was there. And he was the only, as far as I could see, or maybe just a profile for him, was the only rookie tight end there. And he was just straight up absorbing knowledge. He's like, dude, I'm just here to be a sponge. I'm just here to get as much information from these talented guys as possible. And just as if Carl Pitts needed any more fucking hype.
Yeah. Get on board, guys. Get on board.
Yeah, hopefully we get more than 3 tight ends this year in fantasy. So let's hope.
You know who was there? The postman was there. That's right. Dan Arnold was at there. So it's there for the Panthers. Dan
Was
Arnold.
Tommy Tremble there?
I didn't see him, but I also don't know what Tommy Tremble looks like, to be fair. So it's easy to spot some of these tight ends. Like Hunter Henry, you can spot from 6 miles away because of his massive head.
Yeah.
Guys, the guy was like, obviously, he's half American, half Easter Island because of the size of that fucking head. But he's also, Hunter Henry's getting serious hype out of minicamp, which is great to see. Dawson Knox is getting serious hype out of minicamp. You know who else is getting minicamp hype? Chubba Lubba Dub Dub. Chubba Lubba Dub Dub. Nicholas Chubb.
Oh.
Yeah, so basically Kareem Hunt has come out and said there's no reason why him and Chubb can't both have 1,000+ yard seasons. I can think of one reason. That they're on the Browns, and that defense is going to stop them needing.
How close were they last year? The pair of them getting 1,000 each.
Let me. What you two talk about whether or not you think that's going to happen, and then I'll look into those stats there.
So far, I'm extremely confused about how OBJ is supposed to have his comeback season, Jarvis Landry is supposed to have his best season, and Chubb and Hunt are supposed to both have 1,000 yards, and Baker Mayfield is supposed to also be a great rushing quarterback as well as throwing. There's a lot that the Cleveland Browns are promising. And they're never going to be on the field.
Be the Browns again.
They're never going to be on the field because the defense is so fucking good now. They're never going to get on the field.
Well, they're always going to be on the field.
They're always going to be on the field. Sorry. Actually, yeah, fuck it. Let's do it. All of them do it. Everyone gets 1,000 yards.
1,067 for Chubb, 841 for Hunt.
Yeah.
And actually, you think about it, that was with Chubb missing a few games, which would have meant that Hunt was starting a few and he still didn't do it. So if they split 17 completely, then I'll see it, can you?
I'm not here for the Kareem Hunt hype. I don't think I ever will be.
Is that because he's a prick?
Would not say it to his face. But yeah, I'm not here for that hype.
Mr. K. Hunt.
So yeah, just straw poll there between the three of us. Do we see 2,000 yards plus on the ground for the Browns, and do we see it coming from two rushers? No. Kareem Hunt, you in dreamland. And one of the reasons for that, you've just said it, Villain. OBJ is back. He's back. He's running. He's cutting. He's catching.
He's running real fast.
Fast on a running machine. Yeah.
His rehabilitation partner, Saquon Barkley, and I wanted to bring those two players up because it looks like the injury dip is real on both of them. Do you see them being values this upcoming draft season?
Not Barkley, no, because he's still being picked up average draft around about pick 4 or 5, there or thereabouts. And I don't think, from what I'm hearing, that he's going to be even ready for training camp, even with his rehabilitation going on there. So it worries me a little bit.
This time of year, it's best ball and experts. When it comes to home drafts and people who drafted him last year and got burnt, I see Saquon.
How far?
I feel like he could fall to the 7 and 8 spot. So we're talking JT and Zeke, and I've got some things.
He worries me though. He does worry me, and I'd be one of the ones that if I was picking up around that 3-4 area, which clearly I'm not, that I wouldn't be taking him
first overall, aren't you, Statman?
I used to be. I don't know. Have I ever done that? Have I ever been first overall? I'm not sure.
No, because you've never been in Taco.
Yeah, I didn't, did I?
I'm picking from the 7, and even if Saquon falls to the 7, I don't think I'd take him. I think I would take Zeke over Saquon.
I probably would think
I need to see training camp.
Very good.
I definitely need to see training camp just to see how he comes out and if he makes it to training camp. If he doesn't make training camp, then I'll be really worried.
I'd probably think about it at the 10, I'll be honest.
If he's at the 10, you take him. It's a risk worth taking because who else is at the 10? Austin Eckler, maybe.
Joe Mixon.
Oh, God, don't make me sick.
Oh, Joe Mixon. Why? No, it's one of those ones where, but okay, so Saquon, no, but what about OBJ? OBJ is massively down the draft boards. He's looking at the, 20, yeah, so 23rd wide receiver off the board, so 5th, 6th, actually, more likely.
Okay, yeah. That's decent value if he's having that proper comeback.
Yes.
And, he's going to get the targets. We know that.
Well, look how much Rashad Higgins actually ended up being worth last year.
Yeah.
But the other thing about that is if you're drafting him into 5th or 6th, you've already got, if you're drafting sensibly, you've already got 2 wide receivers, 2 running backs.
Yeah.
OBJ is being drafted as your wide receiver 3. That's insane value.
If you could have 4 quality running backs and a wide receiver 1 and then OBJ, I mean, there's a lot of depth at wide receivers, so you can play fast and loose with those players there.
Yeah, there is,
Look, Any, you guys got any news? Anything we need to know about, think about, other than the fact that my LED light is being a piece of shit?
No, there hasn't. It's been really good. It is a really quiet off season. Even more quiet than normal for some reason. I don't know why.
We still have no idea about Aaron Rodgers.
No, I don't care. Don't talk about him.
He's still in Hawaii. No, he's back for the golf tournament now. So
not
Tom Brady needs to fix his slice. Apparently, he's got a wicked slice warming up for the golf tournament.
The news with Tom Brady, talking about him, was he talking about Derek Carr? Because that's come out in the news today that they think it was Carr that he was calling the mother.
I think that might just be wishful thinking.
The episode goes live this week, so I don't know if he actually names them.
No, he doesn't name them. No, it's just that they're starting to try and pinpoint who they think it might have been, and that's come out in the news today that they think
it makes a lot of sense for it to be Jimmy Garoppolo.
It does to me. Yeah, I was quite surprised.
I think they're friends though, so I wouldn't be. I don't think it is. I don't think.
I call my friends motherfuckers all the time.
Yeah, I think it might be Tannehill,
especially those that fuck mothers.
Really?
I think it might be Tannehill because the Titans got deep into the Tom Brady speculation.
But Tannehill was excellent. He's not a motherfucker.
Yeah.
Might be in the eyes of Tom Brady, though. Anyway, so
no, that's it for me then.
If there's no more news, then let's talk about our sleepers, breakouts, and busts. We're going to start with sleepers, but I'm going to set the definitions first. We ain't no run-of-the-mill motherfucking podcast here. Oh, no, how? Oh, sir, Lordy, you are spoiling us. I'm a debutante. Would you like some chicken? I don't know what's happening. I resemble those remarks. We wanted to go deep for our sleepers. So this is basically, when we say sleepers, it's deep sleepers. These are, everybody is outside the top 150 overall and outside the top 50 in their position. And when I say their position, I mean wide receivers. There are no running back sleepers. It is a myth. There aren't enough fucking running backs for there to be running back sleepers. Maybe a handcuff might be a sleeper, but they're not a sleeper. They're a handcuff. Yes. There's a complete difference in the matter. You're not getting value unless, Trey Sermon could be a sleeper. But a starting running back is a starting running back. They got varying degrees. Zach Moss, love, hate, or indifferent about him, is still a starting running back in the NFL.
Yes.
So you will get whatever value of it. James Robinson and Travis Etienne will be starting running backs by the looks of it, but neither of them are sleeper because there's only 32 teams. If you're drafting a running back that is a number 50 plus, then good fucking luck to you. Wide receivers, on the other hand, there is plenty of value, and I think one of the people who's getting some preseason hype, had a good end to the season last year, is the Statman's Sleep.
Yeah. So, we're going for, he falls in the criteria. He is the number 69th. Soissons-Neuf for those in France.
Nice.
Yeah. He's average drive position 182, so he's in that area. So, Gabriel Davis of the Bills is my man. But definitely a pathway for him to take a leap. He was a fourth rounder, taken out of college. He's brilliant. He's on the Bills, so he's got a high-powered passing offense there. He's got a quarterback who could be an MVP running next year. He has a similar year to, or even slightly better than what he had last year. They've got a non-existent running attack, and if that doesn't get any better, we know that the pass is going to be even more. There's vacated targets as well. So you've got 52 that have gone with John Brown from last year. He's gone to the Raiders. And right now, we don't really know what's going on with Cole. I ain't going near no Jab Beasley. So I don't know if he's even going to play.
He will not see the field if he's not vaccinated next year.
Exactly. So if he's not around, that's another 107 targets that could be shared around. So there's plenty to go. He's got a bit of competition in there. Asar Hodgins has looked quite good in OTAs and minicamp. But you look back, Davis already got some starts in last year, so he's the preferred option because he was in there for Brown. His stat line from last year is pretty decent as well. So he had 35 catches off 62 targets, but it was a deep threat. So you're looking around about that 50% catch rate, 599 yards, but it was to 17.1 yards per catch. So it was proper deep, but 7 TDs off of that as well, which is pretty special. He's 6'2", he's 216 pounds. He's going to pick up more routes as he goes along. He's going to have a bit more competition in there from Emmanuel Sanders that was picked up in free agency. But again, Sanders will probably fit that slot role in there, particularly if the old Beazles isn't around as well. I've got him at a kind of conservative 44 ranked wide receiver, but I say that's conservative. I can actually see him bumping up and getting significantly higher in this passing offense as well. Certainly with those targets when you start adding them in. We'll have to wait and see what happens.
Yeah, still just 22 years old. And he's flashed, well, not in the way that gets you banned from the stadium.
Not like Deshaun Watson.
No, masseuses are safe with him. I like him. I called on him in the off-season in Dynasty, and then I'm starting to warm back up a little bit to him. Yeah. Villain, how do you feel about Gabe?
I liked what I saw. He's definitely talented. Kind of went under the radar last year, just like kind of snuck in there. We didn't really expect to see it. And he just picked up as one of those other options for Josh Allen when Stephon Diggs just wasn't really an option because, look, at the end of the day as well, the tight ends weren't really up for the job last year. Dawson Knox wasn't as good as they expected him to be. So there just was a lot of opportunity. He's also quite versatile. I seem to remember there was a lot of passes to him in the backfield and him running as well last year. I think that was him as well. But like he did a job when he was needed. And I think he is an elite talent. And I think he will do well next year. I think he'll get more of a look in than Manny Sanders as well. I think Manny Sanders will do what he did at the Saints and kind of be that third look. And I think that's where he's going to do what he's going to do at the Bills. And I think the second look might well be Gabe Davis. So yeah, great shot.
You gotta love 7 TDs.
You're also not really taking.
Got it.
You're not taking much risk in drafting him as well.
No,
I say with all of our sleepers, they're probably your last pick before taking a defense and kicker if your league still makes you take a defense and kicker. Yeah. So you've got a real chance to just sit him on your bench and wait till he's ready to start. But you'll know by week 3 if he's going to be the guy. And if not, you can still hold on to him until Manny Sanders breaks, because it will happen.
Yeah.
But he flashed last year, and I think he's got some serious potential. But one person who I think maybe a few people will be thinking, if he's not a sleeper this year, he's in the bin next year. And I think that's the Villains, man, of who you've got as your potential sleeper this year.
Yeah, so I might be like one of the biggest cheerleaders for this guy. I own him in Dynasty, but I'm going with McCole Hardman, wide receiver at the Kansas City Chiefs. He's a little bit higher drafted. I mean, like, some people have been quite low down, but if you look at the expert consensus ranking, he kind of breaks one of the rules, coming in at 139. But I still think that's...
I've got him 152.
Oh, there we go. I've got him at 139 on a certain website's ECR. But look, on paper, McCole Hardman looks very, very exciting. He's very fast. He's so fast, he challenged everyone else who was fast to a race and won. He's very fast. He runs lovely routes, and he's also very explosive out the gate. He's got that great start. There's no Sammy Watkins this year. No more crazy lizard man who believes in the underworld. That is what's the word I'm looking for? Triangle people, Illuminati. Yeah, those guys.
Oh, yeah.
He's gone. So now you've just got 2 explosively fast wide receivers on the outside in Tyreek Hill and McCole Hardman. And what is the defense going to do when they've got that and Travis Kelce to deal with? It's going to be really difficult. Plus, Patrick Mahomes can just get on his feet and leg it himself if he really feels like it. It's going to be really tough for defenses. In his first season, McCole Hardman, he bagged 7 touchdowns. And last year, he didn't do as well. He got 5 touchdowns. But last year was ridiculous. There was no off season. The Kansas City Chiefs had a few COVID scares. It was just all completely crazy. And he didn't really get to continue that momentum. He's a gadget guy too, and he was initially drafted as a running back in college, which is amazing. Gives him extra opportunities with the Chiefs because Clyde Edwards-Helaire wasn't really the guy we expected last year. Potentially he could have his own breakout this year. Damian Williams, we know what he can do in the third down and know what he can do in the playoffs, but during the season, he's not the guy either. So maybe there will be some clever plays in there that get McCole Hardman and his speed out of the backfield as well. I just think that McCole Hardman has so much potential. The long and short of it is Hardman's talented and he has less competition and more opportunity. So drafting him at a number 150 overall, looking at the 6th, 7th round, you're laughing.
Yeah, I mean, all three of the wide receivers we're talking about today are all around each other in the 60s. I don't know. I just feel like this is the 3rd season of getting burned by Mecole Hardman. But you're right, Sammy's gone. You've got to take that into consideration. Patty Mahomes is healthy. There might be other opportunities for him elsewhere. I really like Cornell Powell. But that just now means that because it's the 3 fastest wide receivers you could possibly have, like that's a legitimately terrifying
and an accurate quarterback with a hell of an arm as well.
Yeah,
they could just
second best arm.
Hail Marys every play. Hail Marys every play.
No, so 3rd best arm for deep balls because it's obviously Josh Allen and then Derek Carr and then Patrick Mahomes.
No, it's Josh Allen and then Josh Allen's left arm and then Derek Carr.
No, you get, I think Mecole, he's on that dynasty list for a lot of people, which is, he better fucking do something this year because he's not done it.
Yeah, he better fucking do something this year.
I mean, Statman, how do you feel about Mecole?
Yeah, I'm very similar to you, actually. It's the coaching staff haven't really trusted him yet. They've not really given as much opportunity, I don't think, as what you'd expect. They kind of drafted him, from what I remember, when there was a bit of an issue with Tyreek Hill. We didn't think Tyreek Hill was maybe going to play, and they thought he might have been a bit of a clone for that, and they were going to develop him and maybe do that kind of role. But because Hill's there, then he's not really had quite as much opportunity as you'd expect. 3rd-year breakout, maybe. I'm not sure. I don't feel it. But I do like the amount of TDs he's got. That's something he does do. He is similar to Gabe Davis, really, with the deep touchdowns. So he's the kind of player that best ball, I really quite like him in best ball. It's one of those that he could probably win you a week because he'll get you a long 60, 70, 80-yard TD pass. So I quite like that for best ball. Redraft, I'm really unsure at the moment. But where we're talking about as a sleeper, then, yeah, absolutely, he's definitely got a pathway. Because there is nobody else really on that team that can take that number 2
there's
slot.
a lot more hype. There's a lot more hype for him than another guy that was drafted in the same year, Demarcus Robinson.
Yeah,
it seems to be. Yeah. They seem to believe in McCole Hardman because they had that year where they were picking up wide receivers in free agency and drafting wide receivers because they were just absolutely shitting the bed that Tyreek Hill was going to go. But now I can't imagine Tyreek Hill not finishing his career as a Chief.
Yeah,
I feel like they've got over that hump.
Yeah, I've heard them talking up Byron Pringle as well as a guy that they really kind of like. So it'll be interesting to see how that develops.
I just can't. When he gets going, he's going to be
once he pops, he won't stop.
Oh dear!
I will never forgive Pringles as a brand for what they did at Christmas time. They had Christmas packaging, and they could have gone with "Merry Christmas," Pringle bells, and you know what they went with? Merry Pringles.
Pringles all the way.
Merry Pringles.
Pringles all the way.
Pringle all the way.
Pringle bells, Pringle.
Yeah. So many great options. They went with Merry Pringles. That's just lazy.
Yeah, that's just rubbish.
How do you feel about that, Commish, from a marketing standpoint?
Really furious every day.
Who gives a shit? You're going to buy Pringles anyway. They're delicious.
Yeah, they're addictive. Like crack in a can.
That should be their slogan. Pringles, crack in a can.
Crack in a can.
That's why I get paid the big bucks. So, before I go into my sleeper,
Oh, yeah.
Just wanted to quickly say something on DJ Chark because everybody is shitting on him at the moment. First of all, fantasy expert community, go fuck yourself. Secondly, Urban Meyer, you can also go fuck yourself. But mainly, I don't see how DJ Chark, he's not my sleeper. I'm going to talk about, I don't see how DJ Chark is in trouble. How many departed targets do you think have left the Jags from last year?
It was insane. I saw this number and it was like double anyone else. It was like 127.
242 departed targets.
It was double what I said.
I can't even think who's gone. King Cole's gone.
Literally all of their wide receivers.
Westbrook's gone.
There's such a committee of just nobodies. So DJ Chark, LaVisca Chenault, Travis Etienne, Tim Tebow.
What about Colin Johnson?
Colin Johnson.
So they were just, I know DJ Chark was there. He had his injury issues. He's bulked up a little bit. And yes, I know MJJ has come in. And I'm actually quite hyped for MJJ. But 242 targets split between Chark's already had target last year. So I think there's probably 400 plus targets. You imagine they're still going to be playing from behind. So MJJ was almost my sleeper. But one, LaVisca Chenault, he'll be good, but he's not not necessarily the type of player who's going to line up in the exact position where you need to. And secondly, DJ Chark has done it, and I still think DJ Chark has got the ability to be a 1,000-yard receiver this year with that many departed targets. So that's
I love that you somehow found a way to make this show about DJ Chark, even though you're not going to talk about DJ Chark. I'm not going to talk about DJ Chark, but whilst we're here, let's talk about fucking DJ Chark.
I just think it really makes me angry. So my sleeper is in division. So segue. He is a second round wide receiver. He's had injury problems. But I've gone for Paris Campbell, and it's not just because he's on my dynasty team, and it's not because I thought I was trading for Michael Pittman when I got Paris Campbell. It's not those things. Those things are true, but it's not those things. So he's healthy.
Thank God you've got a co-owner now to keep you right.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't know what I would do without the co-owner. But he's healthy. That's the first start. He's going to be in training camp, so he's already back to full speed. He's not warming up into it. Secondly, when he did get on the field, he outperformed Michael Pittman. He's got a new quarterback that might actually throw it. If you look at what Frank Reich and Wentz did before, if you get a shadow of that, I think there's going to be something there. He's 23 years old. He's a 6 and 205. He is, I just don't know if you're someone you're drafting 166 overall, wide receiver 64, so slap bang in between Hardman and Davis. T.Y. Hilton is washed unless you're the Houston Texans. Michael Pittman is a slot guy. Where are the other targets going? Naheem Hines and Mo Alley Cox.
Trey Boo still there?
No, Trey Boo-Boo's gone.
Jack Doyle?
Mo Alley Cox is the only tight end on the roster.
Fuck yeah, let's draft Mo Alley Cox. Hype.
Hype, Mo Alley Cox. But he just feels like a player that people are just straight up giving up to. But I would still put him in the same camp as Mecole Hardman. Like, show us you can do it still. That late on, you do not know who Carson Wentz's number one's going to be.
No.
You know Mo Alley Cox is going to do all right out
of it. It's going to be the cornerback on the other team.
Solid work. Yeah, no, you're not wrong. But that's it. Like, he played 2 games. He caught 6 passes for 71 yards in the season, and then his knee went on him, and now he's 100%. I don't know. I think there's so much potential there that hasn't yet been kind of tapped into, if that makes sense. I just feel like his first season was an absolute disaster. So with Jacoby Brissett, 7 games, 18 receptions on 24 targets for 127 yards. It's not. That's not what you want to see.
That sounds like one Tyreek Hill game.
It does, but that was with Jacoby Brissett. When Big Phil Rivers came in, he had 2 games, 6 receptions on 9 targets, 71 yards, so 11.8. It flashes. Injury is a tough thing. I always like to lean on the Delaney Walker, Frank Gore side of injury, like give someone a chance to come back and really show they could do it. So I don't know. I think he's a best ball dart throw worth taking, and he's your last pick before drafting your defense and kicker. Why not? Or even don't draft a defense and kicker and put him in there and wait until the last minute to take him out. But he could easily be the 2 for a pass-heavy team.
Yeah. No, are they pass-heavy though? I don't know.
I think they will be. I'm basically looking at Eagles, Carson Wentz, Frank Reich, and putting 2 and 2 together. Yeah,
I definitely think he's got a shot. It is make or break for him. I think if he doesn't do it this year, then he can forget it. If he's injured again, I think that'll be done on the team because he hasn't really shown enough for me yet. But I think he's definitely worth a shot at where you're talking in this area. I would take. Well, that's why I chose him. I would choose Davis over him just through the fact that we've seen Davis start. We know what we can do already, and you'd think that would develop. And we haven't seen what Campbell can do yet. But there's definitely a pathway there that he could do it because we know the age of Hilton. Hilton's not going to play a full season. Pittman is a 5-yard in-route runner. We haven't seen much more than that. That's pretty much 5 and in, 10 and in, and that's pretty much all he does. So he's got to develop a lot more. So it will be interesting to see what he can do. It could be it's definitely, like you say, a dart throw, which could be worth taking.
As I said, it's an interesting one to me. I mean, oddly enough, it's not the last time I'm going to be talking about the Colts. And Paris Campbell is not my lowest ranked person I'm going to be talking about today. There you go, a bit of a teaser for what's coming up. But that's sleepers. So the Statman's gone for Gabe Davis, 174th overall as of today's ECR, wide receiver 66. Villain has gone for Mecole Hardman, 152 overall, wide receiver 60. And myself, I went for Paris Campbell, 166 overall, wide receiver 64.
Can I just do a side note on Paris Campbell? Carson Wentz is doo-doo. So that just takes everything out of the equation. Carson Wentz.
Such a hater.
Doo-doo. Just doo-doo. Massive.
I like him a lot more.
I heard a rumor Nick Foles is going to the Colts to be the backup to Carson Wentz. I have heard this, that the Colts want to trade for Nick Foles and get the whole team back together.
Man, I'm shocked that Ertz isn't there. When you talk about
I think he will be.
Trey Burton's left.
Just to let you know, because it's an important statistic, that wide receiver 69 is Darius Slayton.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And
I also think that is an epic sleeper. I think Darius Slayton could have a very good
running
season.
back 69, any guesses?
Chubba Hubbard.
Damn right it's Chubba Hubbard.
Oh, I got a big old chub on at 69.
It's because he's actually right next to someone who was almost my sleeper and was a running back, but I refused to let myself do it. Malcolm Brown.
That's not a sleeper.
I just thought there is a chance. There's a chance he does all of the goal line work, and Miles Gaskin as like the villain will be just sad.
Furious.
Livid.
But if you are going to be furious about someone in Miami, villain, who's your bust?
Oh my God. I hate this man. I don't know this man, but I hate this man. We're talking about Will Fuller, wide receiver at the Miami Dolphins. ECR about number 78 according to Fantasy Pros.
Yeah, I've got a 79. That people knew he was going to be your bust. He's already dropped down a rank. So Will Fuller is going into his 6th year. Can you fucking believe it? 6th year. Do you know how many full seasons he's played in 6 years?
None.
Do you know when he came closest to doing a full year?
Last year, probably.
No, rookie season.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. He's also never come close to a 1,000-yard season. He's going to Miami with pretty terrible numbers and being expected to take the leap into being the wide receiver one at Miami. That's the talk in Miami. He's the guy. Not all these people have done the work already. Preston Williams, those other guys. I forgot their
Devontae
name.
Parker.
Who cares? Devontae Parker. They think it's going to be Will Fuller time. And what makes that more insane is the guy thrown to him is Tua Tagovailoa, who last season couldn't really had the fear of being a pro. He really looked like he was struggling to adapt from college life, the Saban system, and then go into the NFL. It's that old Alabama curse. You can't be a good quarterback in the NFL if you played for Alabama. It just doesn't work because you don't have the wide receivers. This is supposed to be the answer. This is supposed to what's allow him to get back into that college system of having great targets. And I just don't see it. Also, he's going to miss the first 3 games of the season because he's got a PED. Is it just one? Oh, it wasn't good PEDs.
Well, you missed 6 already. 5. Was it 5 or 6? How many did you miss?
Is he going to be a good player without performance-enhancing drugs? That's another question. But what you saw from Will Fuller in these 5 years is every now and then he had a game where wasn't his highest game over 50 points in full PPR.
Oh, yeah, he's a fantasy record breaker.
So in best ball, absolutely draft him with your last pick if he's still there, because every now and then he's going to destroy you for a week. I just think it's a busy wide receiver room. I think that Preston Williams, Devontae Parker, they could probably do a better job than Will Fuller anyway. He's averaged 622 yards a season in 5 years, 4.8 touchdowns a season. And the highest I've seen him in expert rankings is wide receiver 22. That's OBJ territory.
Where's he going on average at the moment?
For wide receivers, I don't know. I don't have it in terms of
let me get. I can get his ADP whilst you discuss.
I just don't get it. I don't get it.
I quite like him.
ADP overall ADP 85, so 7th round. Overall ADP over. Okay, would you rather have Will Fuller or Brandon Cooks?
Oh,
this year, that's a terrible question.
No, because Cooks is going to get all the volume, isn't he? So
but he has Tyrod Taylor.
Doesn't matter. He gets the volume, and I think Cooks hardly ever finishes out the top 24, ever. I think
he always gets a 1,000-yard season.
Yeah. But so I take
the guy that always gets a 1,000-yard season over the guy that never gets one.
Okay, would you rather have Jerry Jeudy or Will Fuller?
Jerry Jeudy.
Would you rather have Devonta Smith or Will Fuller?
Devonta Smith.
Would you rather have Jarvis Landry, Curtis Samuel, Laviska Shenault, Michael Pittman Jr., Antonio Brown, Corey Davis?
All of them.
Not Antonio Brown.
Mike Williams.
Well, Corey Davis was my other choice for bust, so not him.
So there's
not Antonio Brown, but Mike Williams could be a monster this year.
So the cutoff is Antonio Brown, who is 40 points, 40 places in ECR below, in the ADP below him.
If I'm taking him in the 7th round and he busted, then I don't think I would mind that much, because I think what he could bring, and you've got to bear in mind that he had a whole lot better QB last year. I mean, he did have Watson, so you've got to take that into account. But last year was when he was on the field, he was really consistent for all those weeks. That's the first time that he's ever been like that. It's always been up and down, very inconsistent, a lot of injuries and stuff. But if he could, it could be because of the pets, I don't know. But if he can replicate that, and you have to kind of take into account that it's going to be Tua, but I would be tempted to risk taking a shot at him in the 7th round. And if he busted, he busted. I wouldn't be that upset.
I have a feeling that the PEDs where he was on is because he's constantly injured.
If it was painkillers,
So I think that without them,
he could be in trouble.
Be injured.
No, absolutely. Yeah, he could be. Yeah.
So I was paying attention, but then I started reading something about DJ Chark.
No.
This is his autobiography, Chark.
Why don't you get him on your dynasty team if you like him that much?
Yeah, I do. I love him. So is my co-owner. No,
Are you reading his autobiography, Chark Infested
I was just
Waters?
reading that, according to the experts on a certain website, there are many things. There are many trying to figure out the target share for Chenault, Jones, and ATM. But one thing who's the clear-cut number one option on this team is Chark. This year, Chark could be the T. Higgins of last year and finish number 11 overall.
Oh, wow. It's amazing, Commish, that you're reading from your own articles. Quote yourself.
Well, I just wanted to say something positive about somebody in the AFC South in particular, because, in the air, I think Will Fuller is a trap. He's a dirty trap, and he's the one that you'll end up in prison afterwards for. That's how dirty that trap is. I'm just saying, I don't know. I think
Are we still talking about him?
He's fool's gold, is Will Fuller.
We're not supposed to be talking about DJ Chark this episode. It's not about DJ Chark.
No. I was just saying.
There are 9 other players we're supposed to be talking about.
Will Fuller is fool's gold, is what I was saying.
Yeah, I've got it.
And you know who
How
else
did you somehow make this about DJ Chark?
The other person who is fool's gold, obviously not DJ Chark.
He's not, no.
It is Jonathan Taylor. I think Jonathan Taylor is the biggest bust candidate this year. He is. Do you want to guess his ADP? JT?
7.
5.
6. So well done on both missing.
Excellent, well done. High 5.
We hit the post, both of us.
You couldn't even high 5. Oh, solid work. For some reason, Jonathan Taylor has ended up. And yes, Jonathan Taylor had a superb end to the season last year. But you know who wasn't there? Anybody.
Marlon Mack.
He was the only running back. There was no wide receiver options. He had a quarterback that loved to hand the ball off and check down. Naheem Hines had a great end to the season, but the wide receivers were beaten up. They've got a great O-line, so literally anybody could run behind Big Q, and you'd be surprised how far you would go. So I get it. Jonathan Taylor's talented. Jonathan Taylor's got a lot of miles on the clock, and he also had a good end to last season. But the Mac has returned, and Naheem Hines is still there. There are 2 competent and T.Y. Hilton in terms of pass catchers. You've got Carson Wentz, who's going to be more likely to throw it, and they want to use him as a pocket passer. I just think, and it's not, Jonathan Taylor could easily still be an RB1, but at 6 places lower than he's going.
Yeah.
If you are drafting Jonathan Taylor at 6th overall or higher, people are reaching for Jonathan Taylor, you are going to be sorely disappointed. You could have a Arizona Cardinals 4th year David Johnson on your hands.
I drafted him.
Yeah. So
did I draft 3rd year?
I think you drafted 3rd year, got injured.
And then you drafted 4th year.
Yeah, and he did just was shit. So the Statman, it's the only time we drafted him at the appropriate time. But he smacks of danger. You would not be drafting anybody else who's in a confirmed running back by committee within the top 8 of running backs. Closest you've got is Chubb, who is sharing with Hunt. But you look at everybody else who's going above him when you talk about running backs. Christian McCaffrey, yes, we love Chubba Hubbard, but it's his backfield. Dalvin Cook, it's his backfield. Alvin Kamara, it's pretty much his backfield. I mean, Latavius Murray will get involved because that's what he does. Saquon Barkley, if he's healthy, it's his backfield. Derrick Henry, ain't no one getting the ball off of him. Then it's Jonathan Taylor. Behind him, you've got Zeke, Nick Chubb, Aaron Jones, Austin Eckler, Cam Akers, Joe Mixon, Antonio Gibson, DeAndre Swift. Out of those, I'd take all of them apart from one over Jonathan Taylor. Do you want to take a guess on the one?
DeAndre Swift.
No. Joe Mixon.
Oh yeah, because Joe Mixon sucks.
I'm so out. But that's like it's like I'd even be tempted by a Najee Harris or a Clyde Edwards-Helaire over Jonathan Taylor this year because I just think we've seen the maximum of what he could do, and he was alone for it. Mac's injury wasn't an injury due to age and wear and tear on the sides. It was just a freak injury. He comes back to half strength, then that cuts down those carries. Hines is there. They've still got the other guy, who's just the other guy. Can't remember his name. But they've got people who are going to cut into his carries.
Gordon Wilkins.
He's not getting the ball 300 times, 200 times. He's not going to hit that magical range. And he's not a pass catcher.
My biggest issue of everything you just said is that you said Mac has returned instead of Return of the Mac. And
but I still did the shubby dub.
It's a fucking travesty, mate. Come on.
Could have been something.
But the Mac has returned. Shubby dub. The Mac has returned. Shubby dub.
I'm with you. Jonathan Taylor, it looks so appealing. And then all you have to do is like scratch the surface and realize what an absolute minefield that is. All it takes is for one bad game and then Frank Reich changes his mind, suddenly decides it's Marlon Mack time, or we're going to do Naheem Hines, or we're going to try out Jordan Wilkins and see what he's got in his last year of his contract, see if we want to renew that. It's the Colts, outside of their offensive line and their defense, all their weapons on the offensive side scare the shit out of me.
Apart from Paris Campbell, who's a guaranteed superstar.
Yeah, that's what sleeper means.
Guaranteed
superstar. I notice he's in your sleeper. He's not your breakout.
Yeah, exactly. He would never even make it close to that.
So that's the point proving about that. You've got a quarterback, you don't know what's going to happen. You've got a tight end situation, you know what's going to happen. You've got a wide receiver position that's in transition. You've got a running back room with 48 running backs that are all going to play a role in each game. It's absolutely bonkers. Even if I wasn't exaggerating, there are genuinely 4 running backs that are all going to play a role within that team. That's fucking insane. Don't draft this guy in the top 10.
No. You know who I'd rather have? The running back 20, the running back 21, maybe not the running back 22, but the running back 25. I'd rather have those 3. Those are David Montgomery, Christoph Carson, and Mike Davis. Because at least you know they've all got the job.
Yeah, there's no one else, is there?
Well, I mean, there's loads of people in Chicago, but he definitely got the job.
Yeah, true.
So that's what I'm at. But as the JT owner in Dynasty, Statman, do you have anything to say on that?
I haven't got him.
I thought you had Jonathan Taylor.
No, I had him in redraft last year.
Oh,
yeah,
I benefited from that run.
So would you be in on him this year, or are you also out on him?
Not where he's going, because to have that average draft position, then clearly people are willing to take him in the top 3 around that area, and that I think you could be severely disappointed if you're taking him in that sort of range, because there are, let's say, more guaranteed players that you know are going to perform. A lot about that 4-game run were against absolutely awful defenses, weren't they? In that sort of last 4 games that he had, but he was very good, and he does look quite special at times. But you can't draft him at that range with that kind of confidence, I don't think. So I think it's a good call as a bust in that area.
Cool. Well, I thought I was going to get some objections, but it seems I am smart. Statman, are you also going to be super smart with this?
I am really smart with this.
Wicked smart.
We're going back into Florida. We're going back into Florida. So this is the number 13 ranked wide receiver. where people are taking them really high. And it's based on the stat lines that he's had over the last years. He's got 13.3 points per game, which isn't bad. The only thing about it is that he gets them all in like 2 or 3 games, and then the rest of the games, nothing. It's Mike Evans, who is going to give you a decent NFL season. He's catching passes from the one and only Tom Brady. It's a potent offense. But there's a lot of mouths to feed in there as well. But the reason he's going to bust is because he just does all that damage in those 2 to 3 games. He busts a lot, actually, from game to game. And you'd be really gutted if you spent your second or your third round pick on him, because from every other game, you'd be like, well, he hasn't done anything for me. He hasn't done anything for me. And he might only win you a couple of games in the whole season, which isn't going to be enough. He finished outside the top 24 8 times out of 16 games, which is a lot. Yeah. He ranked 53rd, 91st, 68th, 47th, 54th, and 60th in 6 games. It's just ridiculous.
Oh, damn.
So he finished as a number 11 PPR wide receiver, which is a great place to finish. But again, he just did that in 4 games, maybe, with the totals that he got there.
Wasn't his stat line 1 game, 1 reception, 1 yard,
literally
with 1
coming to that? Yeah, it's one of his worst games. He caught 1 or 2 passes. So it was 2 catches or 4 attempts or targets, 2 TDs for 2 yards, and that was his stat line. And that wasn't the only time. There were 2 or 3 games very similar to that. Overall, he got 13 TDs on the season, so you know historically that 13 TDs for a receiver, that's going to regress a little bit. Even if you take 3 or 4 TDs off of that, that puts him well outside the top 20 wide receivers by a long way. He's not the oldest guy. He's still 27, but he has struggled a lot with hamstring injuries as well, which makes me fear him a little bit that he might start missing a few games. I've got him ranked around about number 26 at the moment. But it's that consistency that is just going to do your head in if you're an owner. If you've spent a high pick on him, that'd be really bad.
That's the thing. He averages, if you look back, he's 6 seasons in the NFL. Is it 6? 4 to, yes, that's 6.
Yeah.
8 touchdowns. So he did it at a 13. He's had 2 12 touchdown seasons previously. He's regressed every time afterwards. Yeah. He's never had less than 1,000 yards in a season, though.
Yeah.
Consistent. But
it's starting to dip, though, isn't it? When you look at it, he's gone from like 1,100, and it's starting to go down each year over the last 3 years. Yeah. 1,006
yards last year. Yeah. But that's it. So, who would you rather have? So, Mike Evans is going at, as Statman pointed out, 13th overall. So 13th wide receiver, 39th overall. He is sandwiched between Allen Robinson and Julio Jones. Would you rather have Mike Evans or Julio?
You said Robinson. I'm taking Robinson.
No. I said because Robinson's ahead of him.
So is he just? Yeah.
So, would you take Julio over Mike Evans?
I would.
Would you take Amari Cooper over Evans?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Would you take Amari Cooper's new best friend and arch rival, CeeDee Lamb?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you take Mike Evans's best friend and rival, Chris Godwin?
Yeah.
Yes.
Would you take Robert Woods?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you take Adam Thielen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you take Deontay Johnson?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you take DJ Moore?
I thought you'd say Chark then. I was going to fucking throw the laptop out the window.
I would take DJ Moore, yes.
DJ Moore, yes. Cooper Kupp.
Yeah.
I've got Cooper Kupp ranked higher than Robert Woods, so that's a yes. So I think this is the breaking point. Kenny Golladay.
Oh.
There we go.
Oh, Daniel Jones is his quarterback.
Oh, that's a tough thing. That's the hardest one, yeah.
I would definitely take the risk on Kenny Golladay because I know what I'm getting with Mike Evans, and it's exactly like the Statman said. It is a game where you're going to get 25, 30 points, and then a game where you're going to get 4. Whereas with Kenny G, I reckon he is going to be the first look for Daniel Jones. And when Daniel Jones isn't throwing sick interceptions, Kenny G will catch the ball.
Or doing sick fumbles. Okay, cool. So that basically gives you 10 people outside of Mike Evans that you would rather have.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think that says it all. I think we are out as a podcaster, Mike Evans.
Yeah.
I had him the season where he had a real Amari Cooper 50-50 season where he would get me 50 points and then 0 points. And I hated every second of it. Statman, you've I'd say met him. You've been in his close vicinity.
Yeah.
So are you going to text him after this? Tell him he sucks?
No, because he was really tall. And it just
so just to confirm our bust.
So Mike Evans, if you are listening to this, have a great season. We love you. Big fan.
So bust, Will Fuller, Jonathan Taylor, Mike Evans, and we all agree on a bust. Oh, harmonious as fuck. Breakouts. So the final thing we want to talk about, breakouts now. These are all over the place from where they are. Mine is ranked far lower than my sleeper, but I am. That's right, guys. It's DJ. No.
I bet you wanted it to be DJ Chark.
Yeah, you imagine. No, I really wanted DJ Chark to be my sleeper, but it's not. It could be listed as a sleeper. I've put him as a breakout. He's a rookie. I've had pretty good success hitting on my rookies in Dynasty. I almost went for Terrace Marshall because Terrace Marshall is going into a team with the second highest amount of vacated targets. But I think the lion's share of those are going to be going back to CMC. So basically, I think they're all CMC's targets. So he had 198 targets.
Who's Christian McCaffrey? He sounds great.
Is his name? Christian McCaffrey.
He sounds good.
He is.
I like him.
Lovely guy.
Maybe I'll buy a shirt.
I'm picking a player from the NFC who is walking in a team with 362 vacated targets. That's right. They got rid of all their wide receivers. I'm, of course, talking about the Detroit Lions. I don't know why I went old school newsy there, but I'm not talking about Brashard Perriman. I sure as hell aren't talking about Tyrell Williams. I am talking about Amon St. Amon-Ra.
Brown. Yeah, good effort.
Yeah. Him. I'm never going to get it right throughout the season.
No.
Equanimus
should be the Thundercat.
Yeah, Equanimus's younger brother.
Equanimous.
Yep, who is jacked, who is a talent, who is going 227th overall. Wide receiver, 80. Well, he was 81. He seems to. He may have fallen some more. No, he's gone up. So he's 215 now. Wide receiver 72 in ADP.
Okay.
Hot damn. He could easily be the wide receiver one, and he is out of most people's draft boards. You can get him last on the board. I think he has one of the highest opportunities there is. Yes, Goff's his quarterback. Yes, he plays for the Lions. But did I mention they have almost 400 free targets going there? Brashard Perriman and Tyrell Williams are not competition. He is an athletic freak. He's super intelligent. His route running is impressing in the entire time in camp. I think Dan Campbell likes the guy because he's just a real football guy and he's a go-getter. He's going to kneecaps and whatnot. But I don't understand. Like TJ Hawkinson is going to be the main target.
Yes.
But if Amon-Ra can see 150 to 200 targets in his first season, which is within the realm of possibility.
I don't know.
If you've got 400 vacated targets, TJ Hawkinson was there last year, Swift was there last year. You're looking at everything that MJJ got. Brashard Perriman can't stay healthy. Tyrell Williams can't stay healthy. Yes, Quintus Cephas will probably get in there and people like that. Amon-Ra, to me, has the clearest path at the lowest cost to a wide receiver one. He's not going to be Justin Jefferson, but could he be T. Higgins? I don't see why not. And if he was T. Higgins, is that not a breakout season?
Yeah. Yeah.
If he get 850 yards, 7 touchdowns, sorry. That's what I've got him started out at.
That's...
He might.
If he gets it, great.
I might actually take him down I might take him down to 5 touchdowns, but I can't work out who else it's going to be.
Yeah,
and if you're statting out Brashard Perriman and you're statting out Tyrell Williams, then I've lost all faith for you, Statman.
If I'm statting them out, well, they're playing, aren't they? So they're going to...
No.
Of course they are.
No, they're not going to play.
They're not going to go with one wide receiver setups.
No, I'm going straight up. I'm going for a Matt Nagy approach. There is no possible way they can play this season. No, I don't know. I think, it's a lot to put onto a rookie, but can you, come on, he's got to be 800 plus yards, and I think it'll depend on touchdowns.
I think I don't see a breakout coming from this guy. I do see him as a sleeper. I think he's probably going to be one of the most talented receivers that they've got there. It doesn't sound like Tyrell Williams is doing a whole lot. No, not Tyrell Williams, actually. Perriman, actually, is the one that's not doing much in camp. Williams has been doing okay, but he's not been staying that healthy for the last few years. I couldn't see first. Might break out a little bit, but I don't think much. It's all about the running game and the tight ends for the Lions, so I just don't see there being enough opportunity for him, even with that vacated targets, because a lot of them will go to Williams, some will go to Perriman. It'll be split amongst Khalif Rayburn, Cephas, Edmund Ross and Brown, who at the moment I've only got 47 targets. It's probably a little under. Even if he got 70 targets, I don't see him smashing it out particularly. It's all going to go to Hockenson from what I can see. A lot of targets going to DeAndre Swift. Jamal Williams is catching at the backfield as well. I think a lot will go there. You've got to remember the quarterback's Jared Goff, so it's not going to be getting a lot outside to the receivers as much downfield.
That's what's interesting to me, because Amon-Ra has literally lined up in every single one. Partly tells me that the coaches don't know what to do with him, but it reminds me of, I'm getting the inklings, and I'm not saying he is, but it reminds me of the Justin Jefferson inklings at the beginning of the season. We could play him anywhere because he's a route runner.
He feels sleeperish to me as opposed to breakout. But if he comes out with some kind of Justin Jefferson stats, then
I'm just calling my shot because I wanted to say DJ Chark. I actually also I like Mikael Carter, and I love Javonte Williams as well. Everybody is Mikael Carter. Everybody's kind of crushing it at camp. And I just want to see what preseason looks like. I just want to see what preseason. I'm actually excited for preseason this year. Anyway,
good, but it's football. It's back.
Yay! I'm going to hand it over to the Statman then, unless you've got anything to add on Amon-Ra, Villain.
No, I just think Detroit are a bit guffy, really.
And there's that Buku Guff. I knew there was going to be something there somewhere.
I mean,
I think they've got the most unhinged coach going. Absolutely out of his mind. I don't think he has a fucking clue what he's going to do with this team. The team is completely green. It's so untested as a team. I think Amon-Ra may have a good season. I think we will see it towards the end of the season, which means I think he may have a breakout towards the end, but I just don't think he's going to hit crazy numbers, because I think the beginning of the season for Detroit is just going to be
late season sleeper. That's what I feel.
It's going to be rough, the start of the season for Detroit.
I actually looking at the target shares, I do think there is a chance that Terrace Marshall next year will already be my sleeper for next year.
I like it.
And Pornell Cowell, of course. Statman, who's your breakout? Your breakout seems obvious in comparison.
It is really. Well, it is an obvious one, because whenever it is a receiver you talk about for breakouts, they always talk about a third-year guy, and of course I had to go for a third-year man. It's F1 Terry McLaurin for Washington. He has had some dreadful quarterbacks so far. So drafted in 2019, he had fellow rookie Dwayne Haskins as his number one, and split with Case Keenum that year. Not so hot. 2020 was a mashup, a bit more Haskins, Carl Allen, Taylor Heineke, and finished off with Alex Smith. There has been no consistency apart from the talent that is Terry McLaurin. He has been the number one target for all of them. He has been an amazing wide receiver. You can see that he can score from anywhere. He is quick, he's agile, he is a clear number one wide receiver. It was a third-round pick by them. We know that he can be that wide receiver one, potentially just needed a quarterback that could come in and help him out. His rookie season, he was the number 29 ranked wide receiver in PPR. That was mostly thanks to the 7 TDs. He got off 58 receptions. Last year, he moved up a little bit. He was up to number 20 in the PPR, considering the quarterbacks that were thrown to him. But it's the astonishing 134 targets, which is pretty impressive there. So he's the clear number one. 87 receptions, 1,118 yards, 4 TDs. The TDs went down a little bit, but he is primed. He's primed and ready for that third-year breakout. He should be this year's Calvin Ridley, and I think he'll be hyped up that way by the time we get to the end of August. What makes me more confident about him this year is the fact that Fitzmagic is now going to be the starting quarterback for Washington this year. He's the downfield thrower. The likes of McKissick, who was the other target hog last year, won't see the ball anywhere near as much. A lot of those targets are going to move into the receiver core just through the fact that you've got Fitzmagic there. He doesn't want running backs. He gets the ball downfield. So he's not going to be looking for him anywhere near as much. So in a 17-game season, I can easily see him getting 92 catches, 140-odd targets, 1,200 yards, 6 TDs. That'll get him up to number 8 in my wide receiver rankings, and that's him.
So you've only got him jumping 4 positions to what he is in terms of ECR and ADP at the moment. He's going around the wide receiver 12 at the moment. I was wondering what
based on last year's jump. So you finished number 29, so the breakout is him jumping up, or 20. So the jump is him going from number 20 PPR up to number 8.
Okay, I take that. I mean, I've got one argument for it. Villain, do you want to talk about your boy who's there to steal his thunder?
Oh, yeah, Curtis Samuel. What an absolute player. I mean, just watching the Panthers last year, there were a lot of things where you look like, oh, that's a bright spark for the future, looking forward to the future. Curtis Samuel was excellent. Excellent everywhere. Excellent out of the backfield. Excellent as a slot receiver. Excellent as a deep threat. Excellent after the catch. Excellent making the catch. I even think he got some tackles on special teams that were absolutely out of this world too. And I believe he threw a pass. So Curtis Samuel can do it all. But I do believe that teams know that Terry McLaurin is going to be the first look. However, they'll very quickly realize they have to pay attention to Curtis Samuel. Not to mention, who was it that had a good little breakout? Is it Mims or Sims?
Sims, Cam Sims.
He had a good little moment last year. Logan Thomas looks good as well. I think there's enough in Washington to keep defenses busy that the elite talent of Terry McLaurin, and let's just get it right. He is unbelievable as a player. He is an excellent wide receiver. I think he will do well. I think he could finish in that top 10 of wide receivers quite easily.
Yeah, I think the only other thing that potentially stifles him is how good that defense is. So whether or not Big Ron wants to run the clock down. But yeah, I love him. I think he's great. I'm so hype for Fitzmagic as well this year.
Yeah. Get him to the playoffs. Got to get in there.
Yeah, I think.
Come on. Do you know what I'd like to see? I'd like to see Fitzmagic get them over the line, and then need to take a little break, and then my boy Taylor Heineke
can come in and finish it off.
I want Taylor Heineke to come in and get a little bit of a season because I feel like he earned it last year.
Yeah,
I feel like he deserves it, and I just like him. And then back in the playoffs, Fitzpatrick to the Super Bowl. Let's go.
Taylor Heineke.
Who would have thought we'd be cheering on the Washington fucking football team?
Taylor Heineke just getting those touchdowns, and Carl Allen there giving them a little pokey bum wank just to finish it off.
Little bum wank, cheeky bum wank. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But that's the thing. The whole thing about since they changed the name, I'm kind of
got Big Ron.
And also changed the whole organizational structure and culture. I'm behind the Washington football team at the moment. Go there. It's kind of like I feel weird liking the Bills. Like I feel like that's not a team anybody should like, but now I'm kind of quite behind the Bills. I quite like the Bengals this year because that just Joe Burrow makes them a likable team. Anything
I hate the Texans.
Oh, yeah, Texans can go about themselves. But I don't think that'll ever change for me. The villain is going to close us out for his breakouts on a bit of a marathon show, and then France game's kicking off now. I mean,
we start late, didn't we?
I think we did. Fuck it.
whatever.
Let's just talk about my guy. So I'm going to talk about one half of my Dynasty Super Breakout duo of Gaskin and Dobbins, the cream of the crop.
Gaskin time.
No, we're talking about Dobbins.
Ah.
We're going to talk about J.K. Dobbins, the running back at the Baltimore Ravens, the ECR expert consensus ranking of number 26 overall. So he's going to be a beast this year. There's no Mark Ingram. Lamar Jackson is going to be a pass thrower this year, is the word on the street. And if the stars are aligning like that, then having great talent just really helps. In his first year, like J.K. Dobbins is only going into his second year. In his first year, he ran 805 yards for 9 touchdowns. And this was whilst he was splitting time with Mark Ingram. But you did notice that split suddenly went very much in favor of J.K. Dobbins towards the end of the season. Mark Ingram ran out of gas big time. In fact, Mark Ingram only ran for 299 yards by the end of the season. After a hot start, he really slowed down. So this year, there's those almost 300 yards left by Mark Ingram. There's also the fact that Jackson won't be running as much because teams are looking for that. They're looking to see the Lamar Jackson run. And I've completely lost where I was. Don't worry about it. He's also going into second year. He's more comfortable in the league. That's where I'm going with this. So you've got all of these things happening. I can easily see him hitting well over 1,000 yards this year. I can easily see him hitting double digits for touchdowns. I can also see him getting some more of the receiving work as well. Behind him, he's got Gus Edwards. I completely get that. But Gus Edwards is literally there to take some of the workload off. He's not there to compete for the RB1 job. It is very much J.K. Dobbins to have. So at the moment, you can get him in the second or third round in redraft. So that means you can already in the first round draft your guaranteed smash hit running back 1 or a wide receiver one if you're unlucky. So if you're drafting at the 4 or 5 and you pick up someone like Alvin Kamara and Derrick Henry and pair him up with J.K. Dobbins, that is absolutely delicious for your fantasy team. But even if you're drafting a little bit later and you want to get J.K. Dobbins on the turn and you pick up a wide receiver 1 in someone like a DeAndre Hopkins or, God bless his heart, Devonta Adams with Aaron Rodgers or Tyreek Hill, you pick up one of these players, then you're having J.K. Dobbins as your RB1 with that as your wide receiver 1. It just sounds so good this year. I really like what he's going to do. And I'm foreshadowing it. He's going to do great. He's going to do so great. He's going to do double the projections on my dynasty team, at least double. He's going to do so many points, so much running. Any arguments?
Well, I almost had him down as my bust. So I'm going to let Statman go first.
Yeah. I can definitely see where Commish is going to come from. I can see what's going on in Villain's mind as well. You look at the 9 weeks that he sort of had last year where he was getting that sort of 12 to 15 carries. I'm not sure that it's going to be much more than that. I think he's going to be quite efficient. I think he's very talented, but I think just with the way that the running game works, the fact that they're going to try and bring in more of a passing game this year, you can see the way they were going with the draft, that they want to try and keep Lamar in the pocket a little bit, which I don't think is the best idea because why stop him doing what he's most talented at? So I think Dobbins could have a breakout. I think it would have to be almost like that Aaron Jones efficiency of just over 200 carries. But we know he can run at 6 yards a carry. And if he carries on getting the kind of touchdowns that he was getting last year, what would you say? It was 9. If he gets similar again, and then it just improves a little bit in the receiving game as well. He's going to be sharing it with the old Gus Bus as well. They paid him a lot of money, I think. Yeah, they paid him a lot of money, so he is going to. I think Gus will do that kind of Ingram role, but Dobbins will be the prime lead guy in it. I can see him getting over 1,000 yards definitely, and if he gets the similar kind of touchdowns, at maybe 10, 11 touchdowns or something, then breakout. Why not?
I just struggle seeing Dobbins as a 1,000-yard rusher on a team with Gus getting the work in between the 20s. Lamar, I do think they want him to throw, but I think Lamar has that tendency to go run away, and maybe they will train him out of him, but I don't see that happening. Or they do finally train it out of him, and then he actually starts throwing it, and that affects J.K. Dobbins. I don't know. I'm skeptical. I want to be wrong. I would more.
So even if on like the scenario we're talking about, the 300 yards vacated by Mark Ingram, if they all go to J.K. Dobbins, he's on 1,100 yards, over 1,100 yards.
I don't see them all going to J.K. Dobbins though.
Why? It's not going to change the workload for Gus the Bus.
Gus is going to get more. Yeah,
they paid him. They paid Gus. They paid Gus. And
I've got Dobbins at 220 attempts, and I've got Gus at 157. Dobbins comes out at 1,073, so he's just over 1,000. But for fantasy-wise, you look at that, it's the touchdowns that you're looking at. So it's really that Aaron Jonesy kind of, if he puts up enough touchdowns around the goal line area, and the breakaway runs that he's got as well, the big 60, 70 yarders that we know he can do, with a little bit of receiving yardage, then I think
I'm just not convinced on him. I'm not convinced on him or Swift yet.
I wouldn't take Dobbins as my RB1. I'll be happy with him as an RB2.
Commish, would you rather have Jonathan Taylor or J.K. Dobbins?
Revenge.
Can I pick Chris Carson?
That Chris Carson is going to be shredding defense.
I keep finding myself, and I don't know what it's going to be like in September, with the icky sounding but fine performing Chris Carson, David Montgomery combination. And I don't hate it. I think I'd rather have that than a DeAndre Swift, J.K. Dobbins combination, for example.
Yeah, that murky middle we talked about last season is not quite there, is it, with this one? When you've got a Carson and a Montgomery sitting in that kind of region that had the horrible one last year, it's not quite as bad.
They are.
I think it's murky from about the middle of the first round this year.
Do you think?
I think that's when it starts to get murky.
Yeah, I think it drops off very quickly. But I don't know. Swift and Dobbins are the ones that scare me. Maybe that's just because I'm a little bit too hyped for Cam Akers and players like that.
He's the one I'm not sure about.
I'm not sure on him. Because I think Sean McVay talks out of his arsehole. So when he goes, it's Cam Akers season, that to me sounds like Darrell Henderson's going to split time with him.
Is that instantly what you hear? Oh, Henderson's playing then, is he?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can understand the apprehension, shall we say.
Also, who's the quarterback at LA Rams? It's Matt Stafford, who's never had 1,000 yards.
MVP, Matt Stafford.
We're going back on that train again, are we?
Yeah, I think that we should end it. We should end it on MVP Matt Stafford.
Where's the buzzer?
It's one of those things. Isn't it nice that we can all have differing opinions but still get along so well? I cannot wait for seeing some of these things in action. I think a lot of the players that we haven't talked about today are the players that we're going to go in on, but at your home league.
Like DJ Chark.
No, not at all.
No, but I was going to say, in people who are listening, in your home leagues, if you're not in our home league is super competitive and there's probably only 2 or 3 wild cards in it. Everybody else really does their research. But if you pick up one of these people or some of the other ones you're reading about, but the draft isn't one. Your league isn't won in the draft. You win your league by putting in the legwork on the waivers. And what you might see is people giving up on these players we're talking about too early. If J.K. Dobbins doesn't get up to a hot start, you may be able to pick him up off the waiver wire or do a dirt cheap trade for him. And absolutely, he could crush it.
Not with this guy.
It's worth keeping that in mind. But thank you all for joining us. Really appreciate it. Join us in 2 weeks' time where we're going to get you prepped even more for the fantasy football season with our July mock draft show. Mock draft time. Woo! Yeah, hang on. I should give you that a little bit of a funky mock draft. Super excited about it. I mean, they're happy.
Yay!
happy. It's mock draft time. But if you did enjoy what you listened to today, subscribe on whatever podcast service you're listening to. Subscribe on YouTube. Click the bell so you get notified when these go up. Follow us on Twitter at TFAFP and Instagram FAF podcast. And be sure to check out check out fantasyamericanfootball.co.uk where you can find the Statman's latest rankings and all of the bits and pieces we're talking about. We've recorded this a day early, so if anything big does come out tomorrow, it's because we're all suffering through the England football game tomorrow, but this will be uploaded as usual at normal time. But for now, it's a cheerio from myself, from the Statman.
Au revoir from the Statman.
And the fantasy villain.
Au revoir from myself and this angry little dog.
Oh, he is angry dog. And we will catch you in 2 weeks' time. We'll let you know how our best ball draft went and all of the malarkey. I can't find the theme song. There's the theme song. Have a good couple of weeks. Stay safe and we'll catch you soon.